Standing on the veranda in the apartment that had been rented for me, I could look across the street, and there I saw a little family. Two little boys that were about a year apart in age. Maybe one was 2 and one was 3. And then they moved away, and I didn't see them again. And I thought I had lost contact with them. So one day I was at a very big market in Phnom Penh. Has many entrances and exits. And as I was going into the market, by chance, I met the father. And he said, "Oh, sister, my wife died. She gave birth to a little boy, and she has passed away. Can you come?" And so I followed him. But when I entered their little house, I saw, sure enough, everything he had told me was true. There was this little baby in a hammock, and relatives that were trying to look after him. So I said, the first thing we'll do, I will get you baby formula for him. But he was asking for more than that. He was asking, can you take this baby somewhere, maybe put him in an orphanage? I didn't know what the solution was at that moment. But I came home and I'd written a letter to my daughter in Canada, and she said, "Mom, I don't know if this is connected or not, that an old Bible school buddy of mine named Lloyd McCariff had actually just received the job of being the person that was in charge of international adoptions for the province of Saskatchewan." He knew of a couple named Jean and Jerry Marcoux who were wanting to adopt a little Asian child. They had already adopted a little boy from Thailand when they had come to work in the refugee camp, and now they were wishing they could adopt another little child. The timing, the way things worked together, it was absolutely amazing. So while we waited to try to figure out what to do, just a week before Christmas, what a Christmas present. The father brought this little baby and said, "He's sick. Please, can you take him?" And so we received this little boy, whom they subsequently named Jesse. I received him into my home and once again began running paperwork, going to many offices. We don't pay bribes, and so it took a long time and many offices to go to and to get the paperwork done for this little boy so he could come and be taken to Canada. Finally, when he was about 7 months old, the paperwork was all done. He had his visa, everything was done. And I went to the airport and got on a plane with this little boy. Did we ever get a lot of stares? People were trying to figure out, what's this grandma and a little Asian boy? What's this all about? Well, we took little Jesse home to his mom and dad, and it was very, very wonderful and happy. And then after some time had passed, Jean and Jerry contacted me again and said, "How are those other 2 little boys doing?" Because we have it in our hearts that we think God wants us to adopt them too. So I went to where these little boys were living and found out that they were not in a good place. They were not being well cared for. Their father was an abusive, cruel man, and the children were not doing very well in that situation. And so I said to the parents, Jean and Jerry in Canada, "Sure, I'll try again." Now I had 2 little boys, and I had to run the paperwork again. I had the little boys stay with me in my home, and we had so much fun. And they're also learning English. And so I would teach them English words in preparation for them coming to Canada to be with their Canadian parents. And one day I taught them to say, "Daddy, Daddy, stop, buy ice cream." And I thought that would be funny for their daddy to hear that as they drove along in the car in Canada. Well, their daddy came to receive them from Canada, and this time we got even more stares. Here is this kind of a young man, 2 little Asian boys, and an old grandma traveling together. People must have wondered, what's the story behind that? And they didn't realize that it was a big encounter with God to bring 2 little motherless children to live with their forever home. Throughout the years as they raised these boys, the Marcoux have had to have many encounters with God. It wasn't always easy, but God is always faithful, and He's been with them every step of the way.